She's over there in the bathtub. Oh, God. There's three babies there at the hospital. My brother and her newborn.
How could he enjoy that?
He enjoys other people suffering.
And here's the governor's spokesperson, Rick Buchanan.
Yeah.
We have had multiple tornadoes, very large, what we call an F4, F5 tornadoes. That's wind speeds of 200, 250 mile an hour and plus.
So I'm sure they'll be looking for some aid because they have been so devastated by this whole thing. Oklahoma's chief medical examiner now says 40 people are dead in the state following a string of tornadoes. At least 5 deaths reported in Kansas. Police in Oklahoma City reported more than 500 people being treated in local hospitals, and officers are searching neighborhoods looking for more victims. The tornadoes also whipped through Texas, but there are no reports of injuries or damage there. Entire homes were ripped from their foundations, trucks and cars in twisted heaps, and trees and power lines down all over the place.
Jackie, don't you feel bad for anybody involved?
Why don't you answer him, Fred?
Some of the neighbors said they hid in storm cellars and under mattresses as the twisters approached. One man says that the mattress he was using was sucked out of the house when his roof blew off. At the Del City High School gymnasium.
What's so funny,
You make me laugh.
Your insensitivity makes us all laugh.
People
You're very insensitive.
Glad I can help.
They're waiting for word about their loved ones after the tornadoes. Last night, one woman ran toward the chalkboard listing the names of those lost and found after the twister. When she spotted the names of the missing, she burst into tears. Will you stop?
She's awful.
A volunteer tried to reassure her, saying, it doesn't mean they're gone. Fifth Avenue Hotel, or the 55th Street and Fifth Avenue Hotel. He comes there all the time.
I go to a much cheaper hotel.
Oh, Best Western.
Best Western right here in Manhattan.
Great.
55th and Broadway.
Right, we go there all the time.
I lost my hash pipe. I had everybody looking for it.
Right.
There it was in the bottom of your suit.
Oh, it was in the bottom of my shoe. Silly me.
You have a shoe hash pipe, don't you?
Looks like the shoe phone that gets them off.
Now, imagine you're on an airplane flying across the ocean.
All the time.
And all of a sudden, somebody comes on the intercom.
Do you know
an announcement?
when Jackie complains to me, he goes, when he stays at the Best Western, they don't even get HBO at Jackie's hotel?
Oh, dear.
Yeah. He won't pay.
You would think.
I get the corporate rate.
Yeah, so you're on a plane.
See, no, I get the corporate rate.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're on a plane, and all of a sudden there's an announcement, 15-second recording that says...
I said, well, how you ever yourself, you said?
And then what do you do when you hear that?
That's your pilot.
And what does the announcement say?
The announcement says that the plane is about to crash into the sea.
Oh, God. That's so frightening.
Well, this happened aboard some kind of British Airways jetliner. But it was a prank.
Oh, my God.
Somebody had set up a tape to play that announcement.
Oh, wow.
The crew members quickly switched off the tape and reassured passengers, but several people were so shaken, a doctor on board had to treat them. The airline says they're still searching for the culprit. One passenger says, being told you're about to die is not a pleasant experience.
Well, why don't I
The
play...
plane landed safely.
Why don't I play the tape now right on the air, and if we can recognize the voice... we can help the authorities.
All right.
All right, forget it. I can't do it.
No. Well, I guess we can't help.
I don't have...
Don't have the tape?
Don't have the tape, sorry. I don't have the tape. Oh, wait, here's the tape.
You got
I have it right here, yes. Here's the tape.
This plane's about to crash. And my hot dog and donut.
Eddie, why don't you call Jackie Martling anymore? Who? Jackie Martling. Who? Jackie the Joke Man Martling?
Oh, the setting of a prison for a comedy, did that seem someone unlikely? No, these guys don't belong here, man. The first one.
Why won't you do Howard's show anymore, Eddie? You're such a fan. Eddie, why won't you do Howard Stern show?
No. Okay, you're gone. All right? No more. Okay? You're gone. Have fun tonight.
Jackie's name turned them off.
He got thrown out because he said Jackie's name.
Yeah. Hey,
All the other crap he said.
I like, too, he doesn't even recognize your name. Jackie claims to have given Eddie Murphy rides home.
Why don't you call Jackie anymore? He never
called him in the first place.
Never.
Jackie. The Jackie name chasing everyone away.
Get out of my car.
Get away from me.
If only we could get away.
Everybody wants to get away.
He's like that dog who stays right by the car.
And don't forget Jackie Penthouse Joe Page Martling. His wild new Filthy Joke CD and cassette, Hot Dogs and Donuts, is only $12 plus $4 U.S. shipping. Call 1-800-323-KINK. And Jackie's 3 joke CDs available at all Coconuts and The Warehouse. For animated jokes online catalog, visit jokeland.com.
Johnny's hitchhiking with his dog. This guy stops the Cadillac, says, "Kid, I'll give you a ride, but your dog can't come." He says, "That's all right, mister. He can run alongside your car."
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not even going to sit and listen to that. Make him shorter. That's one of your long dogs. What is that? Johnny the dog and what?
Coming over there. Coming over there.
Johnny the dog. What is he saying, Johnny?
Johnny's going to take his dog for a walk, or...
And what, is he tie him to the car?
I think so. That's as far as...
I just can't...
No, it's really no wonder that you're miserable.
No, I can't sit still for it. I need ecstasy.
You got to get right back to your miserable life.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about that.
But if he was going to take the dog for a walk, why is he tied to the car?
Why does he... Isn't that cruel? No, really. What happens?
Isn't something going to
Dirty Johnny. Wrong? You said Dirty Johnny?
He's hitchhiking.
Okay.
And the guy picks him up. But Johnny has his dog with him, but the guy won't let the dog get in the car.
So they tie the dog to the car?
No. Johnny says that's okay. The dog is going to run alongside the car.
Okay.
Why don't you just wait for the car?
Picture it's you.
All right, go ahead. And then what happens? I'm with you.
So the guy's going about 60 miles an hour and says, "I'm sure the dog isn't keeping up with the car." And Johnny says, "He's right outside your door."
Right.
And the guy looks and the dog is keeping up with the car.
Right.
So the guy goes up to 80 miles an hour, and he looks and the dog is still keeping up with the car.
Right.
And then he gets up to 100 miles an hour, and he looks, and the dog is still
keeping up with the car.
So the guy jams on the brakes. And he says, "Now, kid, where's your dog?" He says, "He's right outside your door." And he opens the door, and the dog is right there. He says, that's your dog, but what's the brown ring around his neck?"
Right.
Johnny says, "That's his a-hole, because you're not used to stopping that fast."
He's so silly.
It's such a fun.
Could you imagine sitting through... at least it's better when he explains it slowly. When he speaks so fast.
so slow that you...
When he talks so fast, it gives me a headache.
It goes right by you.
It does.
I sit here and get a headache 5 hours a day.
Then who?
It just seems like I had to go...
Keeping you there?
You know what? I'll be honest with you with that joke. It seems like I had to go through a lot of stuff.
Look, it took you 2 hearings.
Yeah.
Forget it.
What 2 hearings? You listened to 1 sentence of the first part.
I couldn't follow the first sentence.
You could, too.
I really couldn't.
Oh.
You talk too fast.
You're on ecstasy.
Tomorrow Eminem will be here. He's a wigger, I think.
Yeah, that you can sit through.
Right. But I don't need anything like that.
But it appears that, like, college kids take it and then you can, like, dance all night. That's
because everybody I know wants to do ecstasy with me. They say, Howard, if you were on ecstasy, then you would see everything. And I go... I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
I do believe I'm the only person who's not on anything.
Right. I'm on stuff, but not that.
I'm getting lonesome out here.
Right. I just can't believe Jackie hasn't done it.
Wasn't around.
Yeah.
Well, it's around now.
But Jackie, you're acting like you're reformed.
Like you're dead.
Jackie, you still do coke and pot.
I don't do cocaine. I smoke pot once in a blue moon.
Oh, really?
A little less.
Once in a blue moon.
Last night.
That's such a lie, once in a blue moon.
And then he said,
no, not. But I mean, you make it sound like I wake up in the morning and get stoned before I come in. That's only a couple.
So now you just... When's the last time you did cocaine? Be honest.
He used to do coke?
Oh, please.
I can tell you the last time he smoked pot.
Last night. You just said it.
I can't remember the last time I did any cocaine. I didn't have any money when it was popular. Thank God.
Right.
So the only time I did other people's cocaine when they had it.
You liked it, though.
So you just smoke pot?
It's fun, but you crash from it.
You just smoke pot and drink?
A few beers and a little pot.
All right, okay.
I'm dumb. In fact, if somebody offered me...
I'm getting a note here from John says you drank heavily last night. Did you drink heavily last night?
Absolutely not.
What constitutes heavily to John?
Yeah.
Well, John's
I went home and watched the whole movie, and John said, how'd you make it?
What movie? What movie did you watch?
Les Miserables.
Oh, God.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it. Maybe I was drunk.
Maybe you were on ecstasy. Makes you love Les Miserables.
Maybe then I know why I need to do drugs.
Yeah, John, go ahead. Yeah, Jerry, you're on the air.
Hello, Howard.
Hi.
This past weekend, I was over at my aunt's, and she had this video she was watching. And evidently, she takes square dancing lessons with your dad and your mom.
Yeah, my mom and dad are into square dancing.
They're still doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Your dad's really popular with the ladies, because when my aunt mentioned your dad's name, she turned red. And I said, Auntie, what's up? And she says, well, one day she was dancing with him, she rubbed up against him, and she said he was really big.
Yeah, he is
He
big.
was as big as a foot-long stuffed Irma.
Really? Yeah, well, I don't know if your aunt really said that, but my dad does have a big one.
Do they switch partners? I guess the way the Alaman left
Yeah.
do.
Well, she told me another funny anecdote about one time.
It wouldn't be bad if you had a real anecdote.
No, they would. It is.
It might actually be an interesting story.
No, they were dancing, and in the middle, the music stopped, and your mother started yelling at your father. Ben, he said do-si-do, not Alaman. But anyway, your dad's a really good dancer, but even he can't dance to Nancy Sirianni's loud music.
All right, there you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Every morning.
You don't even know what part of that story is true.
Right.
Woke Fred up.
Yeah, Jason.
Yes, Howard.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. About that Julia Roberts interview, I think that she should give Robin a check for at least $11,999. That interview is now worth $12,000. I felt as annoyed as if I just spent $12 on one of Nancy Sirianni's lousy CDs.
You bastard! You bastard!
And I'm serious.
Thank you.
Super fly.
You down.
Super fly. Every day he's on.
How does he get through every day?
I don't believe it.
Like I said, you get an erection, but there's nothing you can do with it either. You know, you can't finish the job, if you know what I'm saying.
All right.
So it's not too good.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
There it is. So it's not that
And you
good.
don't think you could get over your shyness any other way? Wow.
Smoke marijuana.
Yeah, what does Jackie say marijuana does for you? Maybe we already have the cure.
Makes you friendly. That's what Jackie says. Makes you friendly. Well, I'm right asleep from it.
You know that's where it's at?
I got to go right back to my hotel. I don't smoke it. I don't smoke that anymore.
Thank God.
And of course we have the whole, you're going to have Jackie.
No, I'm not going to let Jackie say. Fred is.
They call it marijuana anymore, this song is done. We'll explain to all you people how this outlaw causes fun. See, pot don't make you older, and pot don't make you fat. It just makes you feel real friendly, and you know that's where it's at.
Hot diggity.
We once had a party, friends from everywhere. You know, you name them, they were there. Music blasting, drinking, moving.
I'm so hypnotized by that song.
Thank you. Old and young they were there.
Right, it's so Jackie.
The nozzle and his orchestra downstairs setting up. We were chugging beers, I just kept filling up my cup. I knew something was missing, something seemed all wrong. We needed something else to get us off on that first song.
The beers weren't enough.
And then we smoked a reefer, and everybody sings. Got funnier and friendlier, our heads were rearranged. Everything got moving, no one felt alone.
That was a sub party. Imagine before marijuana, Jackie would drink and drink and drink, and nothing seemed complete. And then he smoked.
Then we started playing, get everybody going. Get moving to our guitars, hit that bending to the floor. I smiled at my partner as we took right through the storm.
Partner, he has a partner. There's absolutely nothing going on in his life. He always has a partner. All right.
I love how he names Nozzle setting up downstairs.
It's a great part.
All his great buddies. It's amazing.
See, there's already a cure for shyness. Jackie found it.
Jackie and another idiot. And I'm sure that guy Nozzle is thrilled.
He is.
Yeah, he's like, thanks for mentioning me in a pot song.
Jimmy Rosalino, my hero.
Vaselino?
All right, what else is in the news?
Of course, we're still talking.
By the way, I watched that E! show with Robin Gibbons. She looks beautiful.
She is so cute.
Beautiful woman. Bet she'd be fun in the sack, huh? She's a little wild. Gotta get her back in.
You know, before she came in here, I didn't think I was going to like her, just with everything I heard about her.
Me too.
By the time she left, I was in love with her.
I loved her. That's my kind of girl.
She was great.
I thought she was going to be a pickle puss.
Me too.
No, but she was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Pickle puss.
Pickle puss. Who had that?
That's okay to say.
That's an expression from 1952.
That's my
I was in high school.
My mother's
from the 40s.
I've never heard that.
Pickle puss.
Pickle puss, get it?
Sorry.
I heard a cookie puss.
Pickle puss.
Pickle puss.
Carvel cake.
Yeah, pickle puss.
I heard that my whole life. I never thought it was anything weird about that.
Oh, don't make fun of me. Please, don't go off on a tangent.
I heard that my whole life. No, I don't want to bet till I get her weight.
All right, so let me take a break. Then
Yeah, it couldn't be too far away, though.
Yeah.
Jackie's into that stuff. He'll always tell you he's related to all these famous people.
But Jackie's genealogy is really scary because his, like where my...
Going downhill.
Yeah, where my grandparents came over from Europe and it was a struggle and everything because, you had nothing. Jackie's family came over on the Mayflower.
Yeah, but we've been here forever.
Yeah,
nothing.
And most people who come over...
Everything.
Yeah, most people who come over on the Mayflower, at this point in the family tree, have developed wealth.
Yeah.
Because they had an early start in America.
When there was nobody else here.
Yeah, they were here when raw materials and everything were wide open.
You could almost claim everything.
You could be an idiot and sort of claim everything.
All you'd have to do is move a little further away, take the land there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like getting a stock at the bottom,
Right. They got in on the beginning.
Right.
And yet, the biggest thing in Jackie's family is somebody put horseshoes on a horse.
Old money.
Yeah, old money. There's no old money.
Old money turned into no money.
Yeah.
All money dried up.
So that's like a real losing situation.
So you feel like less of a loser than Jackie?
Yeah, I understand my grandparents couldn't speak English. They came over. They had to take menial jobs. And, that I understand.
Everybody was already here. There was nothing much to get.
Yeah, at least I could suppose that the Stearns would have done well if
they were the first.
If they were the first. Maybe a couple of them had some, brain power.
Yeah.
Martling's whole line is just complete loser.
Howard, my seventh grade, I think it's like 6 or 7 grades.
Yeah.
Grandfather, Johann Martling. This is true.
Right, Johann Martling. What could
1640 was one of the land grantees on Staten Island, where they give you like 150 acres.
Wow.
150 acres in Staten Island, 1640.
Even if they just held on to it.
And there is a street, Martling Street over there.
They just
in Staten Island?
Yeah.
Is there really?
They sold it for drinks.
Wow.
They traded it for booze.
They ran everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's what a losing... What a bunch of losers.
First people on Long Island, heroes in the Revolution.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. A Revolutionary War hero.
They worked it into a blacksmith shop.
Yeah. Came back from the war and did nothing.
Wow.
And drank. A history of drinking.
And they've been drinking ever since.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
Fool's Gold makes you lose Staten Island.
It sure does. We got a great show for you today.